Hey guys, welcome to Thursday's lesson. So, before we get started, you are going to need your journal and the journal note slides that we put in yesterday. So, right now, pause the video, and if you haven't already, go to your Google Drive, find your journal file. Hopefully, you put it in a folder and you name the folder, because remember, we're going to come back to it like all the time. Go find it and open it up. Okay, so hopefully you've opened up your journal. These are the pages that we started on yesterday. So we filled in all of this, and we talked about like terms. What is a like term? We identified some, and hopefully you've made it through that activity yesterday. Just kind of reinforcing what is a like term, what's not. Remember, like terms have to have the same variable and the same exponent on the variable. Okay, the same letter with the same power, basically. And we talked about we're going to simplify algebraic expressions just by adding up the coefficients. That's all we're going to do. So basically, guys, let me put it in simple terms. You're looking for the same letters, and you're going to add up the numbers in front of those letters. It's pretty much as simple as that. So the key to doing that, the golden rule, is that we have to remember that the sign always goes with the number that's behind it. You have to take that sign in front of the number with it. Think of them like a couple. Don't break them up, right? They're important. They go together. It's going to be super duper important. So let's do that. We're going to use these steps right here. We're going to use this little poster, and we're going to practice. We're going to work a couple problems together. So I'm going to take it really slow because I want it to really sink in. It looks scary. It can look really confusing, but it's really not. Guys, it's just adding. You've been doing this since you were, like first grade. I think you started doing this. And some of this is going to look familiar like it did back in first grade. So let's take our steps. It says the first step is look for parentheses. So look at this expression right here. Do we have any parentheses in that expression? No. Right off the bat, everybody should say no. You know what a parentheses looks like. We don't see any there. Great. The next step is distribute. But you only have to distribute if you have parentheses. We don't have any. We don't have to distribute. So boom, we're already on the third step, which is combine like terms. So how do you do that, Ms. Robinson? That's the part I need the help with. Okay, so let's do it. Let's look at our letters. Let's look at the variables in this expression. I see I have an M here. Okay. Do I see any other M's in this expression? Well, yeah, right here. Remember, that sign has to go with them. The sign in front has to go with it. Oh, good. I have two M's. Now, pay attention to the powers on those M's. Do they have any powers written? Nope. They're both the same. They are like terms. Okay. So on your journal slide right now, onto the side, you have some colored circles. You're going to drag them. Where I just circled in pink, I want you to pick one of those colors, and I want you to drag them over and circle your like terms in the expression. You may need to pause the video as we go along. That's fine. So now, choose another color. You have colors to choose from. Okay, well, the next one I see is I have +5. So I'm looking, okay, does +5, does it have any variable with it at all? It's just a constant. It's a number by itself. So look for another number that's by itself. Sometimes there's one, sometimes there's not. Hey, guess what? There's one down here. -2. Remember, the sign has to go with it. Notice how I'm circling the signs. So there's your second colored rings. Now, you have another color of rings. You're not going to need all those rings, but you do need some more colors. So pick another color. You should use at least 3 colors. All right, well, next I see I have a +6N. Guys, I hope right off the bat you're going, oh, look, there's another N right there. I see it. You're right. Those are like terms. They're N's. They don't have powers on them. Boom. So now here's what we're going to do. We're going to think back to when we were like in first grade. What did we do when we had things we wanted to add up? Well, it was simple, Ms. Robinson. All we did was we wrote them like this. And then we drew a big line. Oh, yeah, you're right. So notice over to the side, you have an orange sticky note, and it has some white rectangles with terms written in them. Drag those terms over. Drag the ones that you need and line them up in that first column. We did our terms that have the variable M in them first. So you should drag those over and line them up. We're going to add them up now. You already have the line written there. We all know what 7 + 3 is, don't we? Yeah, of course we do. It's 10. So think of it like this. If I had 7 M's and I'm going to add 3 more M's to it, how many total M's do I have? You have 10, right? Simple. Okay. Next, let's go to the next term. Well, I had +5 and -2. Okay, in algebra, we like to think add. It can get confusing sometimes if we're adding and subtracting. We don't know if it's a negative sign. We don't know if it's negative or if we're supposed to subtract. What do I do? Always add. Always add. Just think, you're always adding. This is 5 plus a negative 2. You're always adding. Now, I know a lot of you don't like to work with a positive and negative numbers and adding them in your head. That's okay. Welcome to algebra. You have a calculator. Use it. You have one on your phone. If you're at home, you can use that calculator. If you're in the classroom, you're going to be using the TI app on your Chromebook. If you're at home, use that TI app on your Chromebook. It's awesome. Go to the little search bar, type in TI on your Chromebook, you know, the little circle where you search for apps. TI, it should come right up. It's the only TI app you have on there. Click it. It should look very, very similar to the calculator you used in 8th grade in class last year. Okay, so what is 5 plus a negative 2? Type in your calculator. You should get 3. Okay, next. We had positive 6n plus a negative 5n. Oh, why did I just write m's, guys? Guys, if you're in class, I would hope you'd be like, Mr. Robinson, that's wrong. Those are supposed to be n's. N. There we go. Remember, you should be dragging those terms over, lining them up. You should be typing in the boxes underneath. Where I wrote 10m as our total, you should type 10m. In the next box, type 3. Let's add these up. What is 6 plus a negative 5? Again, get out that calculator. You should get 1. Yes, it is the same thing as 6 minus 5. You're correct. Okay, the last step. Combine them. Write them all together. Here we go. Let's write our final answer. Because I don't see anything else as alike here. I see m, 3, n. None of those are the same terms. I can't combine anything else. 10m. That 3 doesn't have a sign, so I know he's positive. Remember, if there's no sign written, it's got to be positive. And then a 1n. Guess what, guys? You don't even have to write the 1. Remember? 1 sneaky, invisible. He's always there, but he's not always written. So we don't have to write the 1. Box your answer. We are done. Now, why is it called simplifying expressions? Well, look up here and look down here. Which one is prettier? Which one looks simpler? More simple? Which one is it? Definitely this one right here. It is definitely simpler. So that's why it's called simplifying expressions. It's just making things look more simple. Combining things together that we can combine that are alike. Okay, next example. Let's keep going. So we're still going to use our steps. The first thing it says to do is, hey, look for parentheses. Do we have any down here? Ooh, yes, I see parentheses. Okay, what do parentheses mean? Oh my goodness. I'm going to write something up here at the top. You do not need to write this or worry about it. I just want you to think about it. If I wrote 2 parentheses, 3 parentheses, what does that mean? What is that telling me to do? Hopefully you're screaming at me right now. That means multiply, Ms. Robinson. We know about parentheses. Of course you do. You started learning about PEMDAS, what, like back in the 4th, 5th grade or something? Yeah, that means 2 times 3, which is 6. Great. Parentheses mean multiply. Guess what they mean in algebra? Multiply. Exactly. But we call it something different. We call it, look for parentheses, check, have them, then you got to distribute. What does distribute mean? I don't know. Guess what? It means multiply, but it means multiply like this. So what if I gave you a whole box of cookies and I said, hey, take these cookies and distribute them to the class? What would you do? Would you hand out cookies to only 2 or 3 people in the class and leave everybody else out? No, you would not, because Miss Robinson said distribute those cookies. That means give everybody in the class a cookie. That's what you're going to do. You're going to multiply, but you're going to multiply everything in the parentheses, everything, okay? So what exactly are we going to multiply though? Well, whatever number is in front of your parentheses. Look down here. Oh, wait a second, Miss Robinson, there's no number there. Right, there's not. So what is really there? He's sneaky, he's invisible, he is a 1. Sneaky, invisible, 1. Yeah, he's there. Let me write him again. I erased him. Sneaky, invisible 1 is there. That's what you're going to multiply here. Now, 1 is not always the number that's sitting there. Sometimes there is a number there. Most of the time, you're going to have a number other than 1. But it's super confusing when it's just -1 sitting there, because then you guys are like, I don't know what to multiply. There's nothing sitting there. So that's why I want to do an example with a -1. Most of the time, it's going to say -2 or +2 or +5 or -10.25. I don't know. There'll be an actual number there, and you're going to be like, I know what to multiply. But if there's not, if there's just a negative symbol there, he's 1. He's -1. He's sitting there. That's what we're going to distribute. We're going to multiply. Here's how we do it. We have to multiply him times this term in the parentheses. And notice we also have to multiply him times this term in the parentheses. There's 2 terms there. So let's do it. Okay, -1 times -5x squared. Oh my gosh, what do we do? I don't know how to do that. Yes, you do. Remember, we were just adding up the numbers in front a minute ago. So what are we multiplying this time? The numbers in front. That's what we're going to do. So -1 times -5. Again, you have a calculator. You're free to use it. Now on your notes, on your journal at this point, you have a big yellow rectangle. You can click on it and delete it. So -1 times -5. Well, negative times a negative is a positive. 1 times 5 is always 5. Don't forget about little x squared. Bring him along for the ride. Don't leave him behind. No man left behind in Algebra 1. All right, now we got to do it again. We got to say -1 times the number at the end, the other piece in the parentheses. Remember, algebra is equal. We distribute. We give cookies to everybody in the class, not just the first row. -1 times +1. Well, a negative times a positive is a negative. 1 times 1 is 1. If that scares you, pull out your calculator. -1 times +1. Don't let the number scare you. You're in algebra. Welcome to high school. Use that calculator. Okay, now, on your slide, it says we need to identify our like terms next. And by that, you have something written and you have boxes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring down everything else that was left behind. -3 x squared and the +4. So you have the x squared term written there on that line. You have 2 boxes on either side of it. You need to fill it in. So you're going to have to fill one in with a +5 and one in with the -1. So be sure and fill in your boxes. Pause the video if you need to. Okay, so now we've distributed. Awesome. What do we do now? Well, the next step is combine those like terms. Oh, we know how to do that. We just did that up above in the other example. So this example is very similar. It just has one extra step. We need to distribute. Look for those parentheses, distribute, multiply if you have them. Be fair about it. Give cookies to everybody. Okay, here we go. I'm going to start with the first term. I like to do that. I have a -3, and an x squared. So remember, that variable is the magic one. That's what you're looking for. What matches x squared? Where else do you see x squared? Oh, right here. Definitely. Remember, when we find them, now you have these terms over to the side. You need to drag them and put them in a line. -3 x squared plus 5 x squared. We're going to add them up. What do you get? Well, -3 plus 5. What is it? Pull out your calculator if you're not sure. You should get 2. Don't forget x squared. He's along for the ride. Now, you're going to type that 2x squared in the box underneath your line. How do you do that in Google Slide? How do you get the squared part? How do you put a power of 2? Well, type 2x2. When you do that, highlight the 2 that you want to be the power. Then you're going to go up to the top and you're going to click Format. You're going to click Text. Remember, you've got that 2 highlighted that you want to be the power. Format, Text, and then you should see an option that says Superscript. That's what you want to click on. Now, there is a shortcut for that too, and you should see that beside the word superscript. If you highlight that too, you can hit Control+ and it will make it a power for you. Okay? If you're not sure how to do that, email me and I'll make you a really quick video on how to make anything a power in Google Slide. Okay, let's do our next term. Let's get a new color. Remember, you should be using those rings out to the side to circle these like terms. Well, the next I see a -1. Okay, awesome. I have a +4 left. Can I combine those together? Of course I can. I definitely know what -1 plus 4 is. You've been doing that since 6th grade. What is -1 plus 4? Again, if you're not sure, use your calculator. It's +3, or just 3. Okay, let's get us some more room. We're ready. We're ready to write our final answer. I'm going to get a different color. I really like colors. So I have 2x squared plus 3. If you're not sure if you're done, look at your terms. I have this term right here. Well, it has a variable, x squared. This term right here, no variable. Can't combine those. They're not the same kind of terms. Remember, the variables have to match for it to be like terms. You are done. So again, type your final answer in the box at the bottom of your slide. Remember how to do the power for the 2. Highlight it. You can hit Control+ after you highlight the 2 that you want to be a power, or Format, Text, Superscript. All right, guys. I hope it's not as scary as you guys make it out to be. Look again. Notice this expression that we started with right here is not near as pretty as this expression right here. Okay? This one is simplified. That's all simplifying means. Combining like terms. Adding the coefficients of like terms. The little numbers in front of the letters. Add them up. That's all it is. I want you to practice this now. The next thing in Canvas, you have an activity called Simplifying Expressions Worksheet. It's actually kind of in like a quiz format. It's not a quiz. It's just an easy way for you to put your work into Canvas. So it's actually multiple choice. You do need to get scratch paper. I want you to show your work. At the end, the last question says upload a picture of your work. So take a picture with your phone. I suggest just holding your work up to your Chromebook camera and just uploading it. If it flips the image, I'm not worried about it. I just want to see, I can read it backwards, trust me. I just want to see your work. I want to see your process. I want to see you thinking. So you should write out steps like this. If you have highlighters, I highly suggest grab those highlighters. Highlight your like terms with highlighters. It's a great thing to do. Use colors, use markers, use matte pencils, crayons. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you write with on your work. Make it to where it's easy for you to understand and just group your like terms. Remember, that's all you're doing. You're just adding up the numbers in front, but you got to figure out what is and what is not a like term. So work on those problems. If you have any questions, you need help, be sure and send me an email.